What limits a company's growth when it cannot find the right talent? Our staffing agency solves this challenge by connecting employees with qualified candidates and creating opportunities for business growth. Hi, good morning. I am Mahasha, co founder of Premium Workforce Solutions. I would like to thank our board members to give me the opportunity to present our headquarters recommendations today. I will draw some attention towards our business description. Premium Workforce Solutions is a for-profit company established in 2023. The company provides staffing services as well as in-house marketing guidance using AI tools for advertising jobs and reaching potential target market. The company posts online job advertisements connecting job seekers with businesses seeking qualified employees. Currently, the company is operating from its only location in Orlando, Florida, with most of its employees being working remotely. After 3 successful years in the industry, the company must have a central location for the employees to work from to make daily operations convenient. Now, choosing the right location for headquarters is a crucial decision because where the headquarters are established could impact the company's long-term growth by significantly affecting the target market, talent acquisition, and bottom line success. After a lot of research, North Carolina has been shortlisted as the comparison state, primarily because of the rapid growth of businesses there in the recent years. So while analyzing the potential benefits of staying in Florida or moving to North Carolina, this presentation will compare Florida and North Carolina to determine the benefits of the winning state for startups headquarters. I will emphasize on the 3 criteria: number of small businesses, corporate income tax, and labor force size. And then based on these criteria, I will share the conclusions regarding winning state for each criterion and the final recommendations for winning state startups headquarters. So the first criterion, number of small businesses, is one of the considerable criteria, mainly because small startup businesses are Premium Workforce Solutions target market. A larger number of small businesses determine the company's long-term progress, as a strong commercial network raises the possibility of word-of-mouth referrals, professional connections, and long-term client retention. More businesses mean more business for the company, as it provides greater potential to acquire prospective clients seeking a talented workforce. Now, upon research, it was found that Florida has 3.5 million small businesses that account for 39.6% of the state's private personnel, whereas North Carolina only has 1.1 million small businesses that represent 44.2% of the state's labor. Now, Florida takes the lead here because there is a difference of about 2.5 million. Having access to new business domains will reduce the risk of failure for Premium Workforce Solutions. Therefore, Florida is a reliable state under this criterion. Moving on to criterion 2, which is corporate income tax, and is another crucial criterion because corporate income tax directly correlates with the business's after-tax profitability. A lower tax rate would enable the company to make favorable decisions amongst its competitors by lowering its cost, thereby supporting the business's growth. The company will have more earnings to reinvest towards AI marketing tools for advertising and research after paying its taxes. So Florida here increased its corporate income tax to 5.5%. Whereas North Carolina reduced its corporate income tax to 2%. And under this criterion, North Carolina takes the win because there is a difference of about 2.5%. By paying reduced taxes, the company would retain more earnings. Therefore, North Carolina would give the company the advantage to allocate financial resources towards more favorable decisions. Lastly, our last criterion is labor force size. This is yet another significant criterion because to provide employees to businesses, a sufficient workforce must be available. A skilled workforce will have to be recruited to meet the business's goals and to deliver its services to other businesses. As the company's operational demands increase, it will need professionals to handle business and employee records, as well as website and advertising campaigns, and administer accounts and finance. So, upon research, it was found that Florida has a labor force size of 11,139, whereas North Carolina has a labor force size of 5,263.2. Under this criterion, Florida wins because of a larger labor pool with a difference of about 5,875.8. Because of a larger labor pool, the company would be able to connect with a skilled workforce. A larger working population will increase the possibility of a more structured organization by employing skilled personnel and supporting the business's long-term growth. Now moving on to our figure 1 that shows a distinction in labor force size for Florida, North Carolina, and the US average. It shows that the United States has an average of about 170,778, whereas Florida has a workforce of 11,139 and North Carolina has a workforce of 5,263.2. So with the difference of 5,875.8 between Florida and North Carolina's workforce, and keeping the US average into consideration, opening headquarters in Florida would benefit the company's long-term expansion. Moving on to our conclusions. The conclusions are based on the 3 criteria. More small businesses create greater opportunities, so Florida outperforms North Carolina in our first criteria of number of small businesses. Lower taxes benefit premium workforce solutions, so North Carolina wins the criterion of corporate income tax. And lastly, larger labor pools benefit the company, so Florida outperforms the last criterion of labor force size. Moving on to our recommendations for the headquarters. After analyzing the 3 criteria of number of small businesses, corporate income tax, and labor force size, Florida won 2 out of the 3 criteria and is the winning state for the company's headquarters. Florida has 218.2% more number of small businesses than North Carolina, with a difference of 2.4 million, making this number of small businesses a significant decision factor. A larger access to larger number of small businesses will help the company maintain its relationships with more businesses by expanding its reach, thereby bringing in more revenue in the long run, and this will eventually lower the risk of failure for the company. North Carolina has a 175% lower corporate income tax than Florida, with a difference of about 2.5% tax rate. This will eventually allow the company to accumulate more profit after paying taxes and reinvest those retained earnings towards more favorable outcomes like advertising, research, and business expansion. Moreover, Florida has a 111.6% larger labor pool than North Carolina, with a difference of about 5,875.8. This means that a wider labor force will provide more potential for the business. A larger labor force will increase the likelihood of staffing flexibility for the company and make it convenient to adjust to evolving business operational demands by recruiting for vacancies as new potential opportunities emerge over time. Now, I understand that you might have some concerns. The concern number 1 is that higher taxes in Florida could affect businesses' net cash flow, thereby causing a decrease in retained earnings, and eventually could lower the amount of funds available to reinvest in the long run, affecting the company's operational expansion, such as technological advancements, research, and advertising. However, Florida's larger small business sector and a wider labor pool could overcome this, because access to more clients and more staff would bring more opportunities as well as more revenue, adding to the company's sustained growth. Now, the concern number 2 that was raised was that a larger number of businesses in Florida could increase competition and the company might be at a competitive disadvantage. The company might have to keep its costs low because of this and invest more in advertising to excel amongst its competitors. Now, the company, I would say, is at a competitive advantage instead because of its unique AI services offered to its clients for marketing. And this risk can further be mitigated by targeting a specific niche and offering specialized one-on-one services that other businesses tend to overlook. Now, moving on to our advertising plan. So, to attract more clients for steady growth, the company must enforce targeted advertising strategies, utilize digital platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as its main sources to advertise the hiring services and acquire customers, as well as establish its credibility on social media by sharing experiences of real time clients. Moreover, the company could use AI tools to automate and optimize search engines to maximize online presence for businesses and individuals searching for hiring opportunities. By opening headquarters in Florida, the company could utilize its current clients and build partnerships to promote its services. Now, the last two slides include the references if anyone wants to look at those, and now I'm open for any questions. So my partner over there has a question for me that have you ever considered any other state for comparison aside from North Carolina? Being honest, yes, other states were considered like New York. However, North Carolina was shortlisted because it provided the strongest comparison for based on the company's goals and headquarters needs. So yeah, I would like to thank our board members for joining us today and giving us the opportunity to reflect on the importance of headquarters and why we chose North Carolina as the comparison state. Thank you for your time and consideration.